Hey everybody, so it's time for me to wrap up my September reading, and I'm gonna have to do two videos because I read a ton in September, dominated by the National Book Award, a long list, but I did read a number of books before that I have to tell you about because they were all amazing. So let's get started. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you all doing today? As always, I hope you're happy, I hope you're safe, I hope you're healthy, and of course, I hope you're reading an amazing book. You could be writing an amazing book or two, let me know. As always, it is crazy time around here. As you can tell, I am wearing the same shirt for two videos in a row because I am trying to plan ahead. So forgive me that, but I am here to talk about some amazing books. So as I said, I read 10 books that were on the National Book Award long list in the month of September. I think the last two may have drizzled into October. But before that, I had actually read another 5 books that are absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to be breaking up. Could you imagine if I tried to do all of those in one wrap-up video? It would never happen. So there are going to be 2 wrap-up videos for the month of September. So as always, get out your pen, get out your paper, get out your Goodreads, however you keep track of your TBR. If you are so able, I encourage you to get these books from your local independent bookstores. All of these books are out, so you can get your hands on them. I went a little bit backlist on a few of them too, so that is super exciting. And I can't wait to tell you all about them. If you are able to get them from your local independent bookstore, that is fantastic. If you are a library user, I think you can get them all in your libraries. They are all amazing. So yeah, let's get started. Now, a book that I have talked about a number of times before I read it, because let's just be honest, she's one of my bookish crushes and I totally adore her. But I have actually read The Witches of Moonshine Manor by Bianca and Marais. This is out from Mira here in the US. Perfect book for October. I think I saw on her Instagram that this was picked for like an October read, I don't know, for a TV show or some program in Canada for the month of October. So congratulations, Bianca. This book is everything you want. So it is about a group of 80-something witches that live in a house together. You find out very quickly one of them is a ghost and has been unable to leave the home for some time. And they are in financial difficulties. They have been unable to pay for their house to the city for quite some time. And at the beginning of the book, a huge mob of men arrive, threatening to take over the home. You find out later why. I'm not going to spoil it. But there's a couple of things that come at this. One, we know that one of the witches they are waiting for a witch to return, someone who is going to be the answer to all of their issues, which, you know, that can't go right? That can't go right. But it is a fun adventure along the way. We meet a young woman who is a young girl who is obsessed with taking down the patriarchy. TikTok, I believe, is her main avenue of social media. And she is feisty and fun and absolutely adorable. And this book is all about the relationships between these women. You get flashbacks about how they sort of got here and how they came together. Their friendship is at the center of this book. This book is age positive. This book is sex positive. This book is just an adventure and a half. It is just lovely. And you're rooting for them to overcome everything. It's got a hint of magic. It's got a hint of, it's just got everything that you're absolutely going to need to enjoy. I said this in my last video. It is a perfect book to read by the fire while drinking your hot chocolate. Absolutely adored it. I can already see the movie in my head. So that's The Witches of Moonshine Manor by Bianca Marais, out now from Mira Books in the US. Absolutely adored it. A book that I was quite blown away by is this collection of interconnected short stories called Stories from the Tenants Downstairs by Sidik, Fofana, and this is out from Scribner. I didn't know what to really expect from this book. I do love interconnected connected short stories. I've read a lot of short story collections lately, which is not in my norm. And this one it does stand out a bit. So basically we are in an apartment building in Harlem, and we get introduced to a myriad of the different people that live there, okay? And they pop up in each other's stories, and they pop up in each other's lives throughout the book. This book focuses and really articulates, at least for me, the idea of poverty and the idea of sort of trying to get out of poverty and all of the obstacles that are in the way to do so. The American economic system is not put in place to help people who are trying to get out of poverty. But what this book does, it also talks about a lot of the things, the community around that, the family around that, the decisions that need to be made in order to make it work paycheck to paycheck, robbing Peter to pay Paul, to what do you do? How do you sort of scheme your way through life? What are you willing to accept for the almighty dollar just to be able to survive? There's a lot of brilliant writing in this book. It was rather heart-wrenching throughout the whole entire thing. There's a lot about eviction and a lot about losing your home because of money and issues with money. Even though you're working so hard to support your family, it's never enough. It's a fascinating collection of stories that comes together. I really, really thought it was quite brilliant. I'm quite surprised it was not on the MBA long list, to be honest. But that's Stories from the Tenants Downstairs by Sidik, Fofana, out from Scribner Books. Highly recommend. It's not an easy read, but it's definitely one worth your time. I decided to then do a little bit more just lighthearted reading, stuff that I just wanted to make myself feel good and enjoy. And so I read Out of the Blue by Jason June. This is their second novel that I've read. Their first novel was Jay's Gay Agenda, which I enjoyed very much. This is very much, as my friend Ryan says, this ages me. Splash. Do you remember the movie Splash with Daryl Hannah and Tom Hanks? Set in modern times at a high school with queer, gender, fluid identity, all of that kind of stuff. But our main character is a mer person who, on their 16th birthday, they all have to come to the land and help a human within 30 days. And if they do, they can return to the ocean. If they do not, they are stuck on land forever. And he meets another young boy who has just been dumped by his boyfriend for another guy on the swim team. They're both on the swim team. And they concoct this story. The mer person, I always forget his name. Oh, goodness. Crest is his mer name. Ross. Ross is his human name. Ross decides that his good deed is going to be getting Sean's boyfriend back for him. Of course there's romance, of course there's everything. Ross is very gender fluid. They use the they them pronouns, are very much willing to sort of bend and just be themselves, which I think Sean really takes a lot from because of sort of that freedom. I thought this book was charming. I thought it was great. I thought the story was great. Something that Jason June is learning to do as a writer, and this is their second book that I've read, they want to talk about, gender and fluidity and non-binariness. They haven't quite learned how to smoothly integrate that into their narrative. So sometimes it comes a little bit out of nowhere, or even a little heavy-handed, but it makes sense to the overall book and its point. I think as they become, just more sophisticated in their style, they'll learn how to sort of maybe transition a little bit easier. But they write charming characters, charming love stories, charming side characters, and the conflict, you know what it is, you know what's going to happen, and you just want it to be great, and it is, and it's lovely. And so that's Out of the Blue by Jason June. This is out by Harper Teen. Highly recommend both of their books. Then I picked this up at one of my favorite bookstores, Kepler Books. I was looking for just something romantic and something that would just make my heart pitter-patter. So I picked up The Charm Offensive by Alison Cochrun, out from Atria Books. So this book is everything you need when you just want, you know, the conflict of romance with the love story, with the all of the stuff that goes with that just makes your heart sort of melt and pitter patter. So this is based on a bachelor type show where you have a prince who arrives who's going to choose a princess. On that show works our main character Dev. He is a gay man. He is returning to the show after being dumped by his boyfriend, who is on the show as another type of producer. And he winds up getting put with the main prince, right? Who is a tech guy who's made a lot of money, but clearly is struggling with his image, struggling with other sort of mental health issues that he's never really discussed in public. They create a friendship, which then creates other things, and they're trying to put the show on. He needs the show. The prince character needs the show to work to sort of reinvent himself in the public space. And all of the conflicts, they both have self-esteem issues. They both don't think they're worthy, but they both need each other. There is a fantastic group of friend characters in this book that are fun and exciting. And it is exactly what you need if you just want to read a fun gay romance with ups and downs and struggles, and you'll get mad at them, and then you'll be like, please get together. And it just does everything that you need in that exact way. So that's The Charm Offensive by Alison Cochrun, out from Atria Books right now. That book's been out for a while. I adored it. A book that I have, I think I hauled it on my video, but that I absolutely adored is Witches by Brenda Lozano, translated from the Spanish by Heather Cleary. I don't know how to explain this book, and I apologize, because it's one of those books where I just, throughout the whole thing, kept thinking, gosh, this is so, so good. What is going on? So the book starts with a murder. A woman has been murdered, and there's an investigation. Now, that woman was known to be sort of like a, I'm going to use the word healer, or a traditional healer. Maybe a shaman will be a word. And she was known to be that. And it leads to the story, an investigation. We have two characters. One is a journalist who has come to interview a friend of the murdered woman. And Zoe is the journalist, and she is there to report on Paloma's murder. And she meets Feliciana, who is now sort of currently working as the witch, or the as the woman who helps people with health issues and family issues and stuff like that. And you go between rotating narratives between each of them, telling their story, not only their story now, but also sort of who they are and where they came from. You find out that Paloma was a transgender woman who lost her power when she transitioned and left it in order to go with men. And you find out that she has been, Paloma has been sort of mentoring Feliciana and sort of the ups and downs of her career as a healer woman. And then you sort of see how all of that comes together, and sort of how tradition is fighting modernity. You know the word I'm trying to say. And how those sort of conflict. I thought it was brilliant. It's very dense in its writing style, but also very poetic. The translation is spot on fantastic. So this is Witches by Brenda Lozano, out by translated by Heather Cleary, out from Catapult. So this is part one, because I'm going to save the rest for another one. It's a stack of books that were fantastic. They were a great start to my September reading. I absolutely loved them. And you may say Witches. I'm going to do a video on October reads, and it's going to be there. I'm just telling you because it needs to be read. I'm telling you right now. As always, if you are a return subscriber, I couldn't do this without you. Thank you so very, very much. If you are new to my channel, I hope you subscribe and click that button. I need you to do it because it's fantastic when you do. As always, I encourage you to read globally, shop locally, and until next time, I wish you happy reading. Bye, everyone.